went away to college 500 miles when I was 17. I could handle the classwork of the nursing degree I was in. What I couldn't handle was watching people die. I couldn't handle it emotionally. I couldn't go home. The home I grew up in was falling apart. So I ran away. What I didn't know at the time, but had ample opportunity to find out later, is when you're running, you're looking behind you, and you might run into a wall. The wall I ran into was a man that I knew 10 days before I said I do, living in the back of Beyond, Michigan, in a cabin. We had one car, which he took to work every day. I worked in the home because that was women's work. We had a mailbox a mile away. Town was 7. We had no phone. Didn't have cell phones back then anyway. We had money for electricity, but not for propane. That was okay. We cut wood to keep ourselves warm for the coming winter. But no propane meant no stove, no oven, no washer, no dryer. So I learned to cook everything in an electric Dutch oven, and I washed our filthy jeans on the pump house with a floor brush during the week. I had nothing to do all day but clean and think. But it was beautiful. It was fall in northern Michigan. I picked huckleberries and made pies. The fires at night were warm and romantic. Until he started hitting me. I thought it was my fault. After all, I didn't know anything domestic. He had to teach me how to cook. So I screwed up. I made mistakes. And I tried really hard to learn that life as fast as I could to make him proud. But as I got better at that life, he didn't change. He'd get angry. No, he got furious. And I ended up with bruises. But when that stranger left his eyes and he said he was sorry, I believed him because he believed it. It wasn't always bad. The anger wasn't always there, but the potential was, hanging in the air like static electricity. I stayed alert. I lost weight. The best day was Saturday because we'd go to the store, we'd go to the laundry, and I got to go to the library. I was always a reader, but then reading sustained me. It took me away in my mind on those long hours during the day. The library only let me take out 7 books at a time, so I picked the biggest ones that I could find, so I wouldn't run out of reading material during the week. That's how I met Ayn Rand, and her book, Atlas Shrugged, showed me what I missed in all those hours of thinking. It never occurred to me that I was the answer. It was a beginning. I eventually divorced and went to live in Southern California. My landlady one day called me out of the blue and told me there was a man in the complex who had noticed me and asked her for an introduction. My silence must have telegraphed stun because she went on to tell me he's a professional man and he's a little shy and he's got old world manners. And before she could launch into the saving the kitten from drowning story, I said, okay, fine. Partly to shut her up, but partly because I wanted to meet this throwback. So sure enough, she shows up on my doorstep that afternoon with a guy in a suit with a cute little boy's smile. And she takes off. And he invited me to dinner that night. I thought, okay, fine. So we go to dinner, and he proceeds to give me every gruesome detail of the horrific divorce he'd just gone through for 2 hours. Then he told me he fully intended to be married within the year, and by the way, he had full custody of his 2 young children. I was never getting married again. And I never wanted children. I was so out of there. So he took me home, and on the front porch, he asked me if I wanted to go for a motorcycle ride that weekend. He's got a motorcycle. I love motorcycles. Okay, one more date, because he can't talk about his divorce when he's riding a motorcycle, right? That shy guy with the cute little boy smile and I celebrated our 30th anniversary in March. He taught me what a good man is. And that is why I write romance. I want women that are in bad situations to know that happy endings can happen to them too. I know because it happened to me. Thank you.